It is a matter of common knowledge among mystics that the evolutionary career of mankind is one indissolubly bound up with the divine hierarchies, who rule the planets and the signs of the zodiac, and that the passage of the sun and the planets through the 12 signs of the zodiac marks man's progress in time and in space. Therefore it is not to be wondered at, that in the course of their investigations into the spiritual development of mankind, the writers have also encountered much that deals with the zodiac, which is the boundary of our evolutionary sphere at the present time. So much has been perceived in the memory of nature that sheds light upon obscure passages of the Bible, and notes have been made from time to time of different points, but how to collect and collate these dissociated writings into a united whole, has been a great problem for a long time. Even now, the writers know and feel that what they have to bring forth is only a very, very weak attempt to set before the students that great body of facts which have come to them through the memory of nature. They feel, however, that this will give a new meaning and more profound to the old symbols, that by passing on what has been found they put themselves in line to perceive more light. Concerning the future evolution of planets, the Rosicrucian cosmo-conception teaches, that when the beings upon a planet have evolved to a sufficient degree, the planet becomes a sun, the fixed center of a solar system. When the beings there have evolved to a still greater degree, and consequently it has reached its maximum of brilliancy, it breaks up into a zodiac and becomes, so to speak, the womb of a new solar system. Thus the great hosts of divine beings who, until then, were confined upon that sun gain freedom of action upon a great number of stars whence they can affect, in different ways, the system which grows up within their sphere of influence. The planets or man-bearing worlds within the zodiac are constantly being worked upon by these forces, but in various ways according to the stage they have reached in evolution. Our sun could not have become a sun until it sent out from itself all the beings who were not sufficiently evolved to endure the high rate of vibration and the great luminosity of the beings who were qualified for that evolution. All the beings upon the different planets would have been consumed had they remained in the sun. This visible sun, however, though it is a place of evolution for beings vastly above man, is not by any means the father of the other planets, as material science supposes. On the contrary, it is itself an emanation from the central sun, which is the invisible source of all that is in our solar system. Our visible sun is but the mirror in which are reflected the rays of energy from the spiritual sun. The real sun is as invisible as the real man. From this teaching it is apparent that the great spiritual hierarchies which are now guiding our evolution, have had their training for this path in previous schemes of manifestation, also that what they are now doing, we shall someday do for others. Already the foremost among our race are treading the path of initiation, and have thereby advanced into other stages, far beyond the general status of present humanity. It has been learned that those who have gone through the mercurial school of the lesser mysteries and have graduated from the school of the greater mysteries are now preparing human evolution in the Jupiter period. They have entered the planet Jupiter, by way of one of the moons, which serves as a stepping stone. Others there are, unfortunately, who have gone the other way. We read in the Rosicrucian cosmo-conception, that even as the whole population of the Earth were at one time expelled from the present Sun because of their inability to keep up with the vibrations of the beings thereon, thus hindering them and being hindered themselves, so also it became necessary in the Lemurian epoch, to expel a few the stragglers upon Earth. Thus, the Moon was cast out into space to revolve as a satellite around our present planet. Those unfortunates are gradually degenerating, and the time will come when they will all go to the planet Saturn, which is the door to chaos. Thence they will be expelled to interplanetary space to await the time when, in a new system, there will be a favorable condition for their further evolution. Thus, the zodiac and the planets are as a book in which we may read the history of humanity during past ages, and it also gives a key to the future which is in store for us. In the famous zodiac in the Temple of Dendera, Cancer is not pictured as we have it in modern days. There it is a beetle, a scarab. This was the emblem of the soul, and Cancer has always been known in ancient times, as well as among modern mystics, to be the sphere of the soul, the gate of life in the zodiac whence the spirits coming into rebirth, enter are sublunary conditions. It is therefore aptly ruled by the moon, which is the planet of fecundation, and it is noteworthy that we find Capricorn, which is its opposite, ruled by Saturn, the planet of death and chaos, who is mystically depicted as the reaper with his scythe and hourglass in hand. These two opposite signs are therefore turning points in the soul's career. Cancer and Capricorn mark the highest ascent of the Sun into the northern hemisphere, and its lowest descent into the south. Observations show us that during the summer, when the Sun is in the sphere of Cancer and allied signs, fecundation and growth are the order of the day. But when the Sun is in the south, in Capricorn, we have winter, when nature is dead. The fruits of the summer are then consumed and assimilated by us. As a circle dance of the Sun among the 12 signs determines the seasons of the year when direct, causing the germination of myriads of seeds cast in the earth, also the mating of the fauna, which then makes the world alive with the sights and sounds of manifested life, and at another time leaves the world dumb, dull and drear in winter's gloom, under the sway of Saturn, so by the slower backward movement, known as the precession of the equinox, does it produce the great changes which we know as evolution. In fact, this precessional measure of the Sun marks the birth and death of races, nations and their religions, for the pictorial zodiac is a symbolical presentation of our past, present and future development. When we consider the zodiac in its religious as well as its evolutionary aspects, by means of the 6 pairs of opposite signs into which the 12 may be divided, we also commence with Cancer and Capricorn, for the reason given in the previous article, namely, that these are the solstitial points where the Sun reaches its highest and lowest declination. Considered in this manner, we find that there are 2 sets of 3 pairs of signs, namely, Cancer and Capricorn, Gemini and Sagittarius, Taurus and Scorpio. In these 3 pairs of signs, we may read the history of human evolution and religion, in the early, the middle and the latter third of the Atlantean epoch. In the other 3 pairs of signs, Aries and Libra, Pisces and Virgo, Aquarius and Leo, we find the key to man's development during the Aryan epoch. This is also divisible into 3 distinct periods, namely, the Aryan age, from Moses to Christ, which comes under Aries Libra, the Piscean age, which takes in the last 2,000 years under Pisces Virgo Catholicism, and the 2,000 years which are ahead of us, called the Aquarian age, where the signs Aquarius and Leo are illuminated and vivified by the solar precession, for the upliftment of the Son of Man, Aquarius, by the Christ within, the Lion of Judah, Leo, to the estate of Superman. It must not be thought, however, that the Atlantean epoch only lasted while the Sun by precession went through Cancer, Gemini, and Taurus, a period of only 6,000 and a few hundred years, far from it, but there are spirals within spirals, and recapitulation takes place in the epochs and races, so that we may know what is the general destiny by looking at the Sun's passage through these signs and therewith taking this import and symbolism into consideration. It may also be said that the further we advance, the smaller do the spirals become, the shorter the time in which a given improvement is made, because of the proficiency we attained in former ages, and therefore it is extremely probable that this present is the last lap, that the coming Aquarian age is the final preparatory school day which will fit us for the new age, the 6th epoch, and that will begin when the Sun by precession enters Capricorn. This, of course, would mean that the second advent must take place just before that time, and though it seems to us that so many signs point that way, this is a mere surmise and may not have any truth in it at all. Thousands of people have been misled, during all the ages that we know of, to think that Christ would soon be here. It is, however, better that we are looking forward to it than if we should say with some, that it will never take place. In that case the great day will find us unprepared, and we should find ourselves among the stragglers who are unfit to attend the wedding feast of the higher self to the lower, because lacking the soul body which is the wedding garment that enfolds them. Thus, we have seen that man is amenable to the planetary rays in an increasing measure as he advances through evolution, but the more highly he becomes developed spiritually, the less he will allow the planets to dominate him, while the younger soul is driven unresistingly along the tide of life in whatever direction the planetary vibrations propel him. It is the mark of the advanced soul that it keeps the true course regardless of the planetary vibrations. Between these two extremes there are naturally all gradations. Some are amenable to the rays of one planet, more to another, and the bark of life of such men and women is driven upon the rocks of sorrow and suffering, that they may learn to evolve within themselves the willpower that finally frees them from all domination by the ruling stars. And it may be asked, have we run the gamut of vibrations when we have learned to respond to all the 7 planets which are mythically represented as the 7 strings on Apollo's lyre? In other words, is Neptune the highest vibration to which we shall yet respond? The Western wisdom teachings tell us that there are 2 more planets in the universe which will be known in future ages, and that these will have an influence in developing qualities of so transcendent a nature that we cannot now understand. The number of Adam, man or humanity, is 9, and there are 9 rungs upon the stellar ladder by which he is ascending to God. Up to the present time he has climbed only 5 of these rungs: Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn, and not even the vibrations of these he has by any means learned. Uranus and Neptune are slowly coming into our lives. They will not become active in the same manner and to the same degree that, for instance, the Moon and Mars are at the present time until many ages have passed. But even when we have learned to respond to them, there are 2 more of which we shall know something later. It is the opinion of the writers that these are probably not felt by any except those who have graduated from the greater mystery school and the hierophants of that sublime institution.